This is a true crime in real time update from True Crime Today and the Hidden Killers podcast.
In the early hours of December 4th, 2024, the bustling streets of Midtown Manhattan bore witness to a chilling act of violence. Brian Thompson, the 50-year-old CEO of UnitedHealthcare, was fatally shot outside the New York Hilton Midtown hotel. The assailant, captured briefly on surveillance footage, vanished into the city's labyrinthine streets, leaving behind a cloud of fear and a cascade of questions. This targeted killing in the heart of one of the world's busiest cities was not just a tragedy, but a statement, the implications of which would unfold over the following days. For Kathleen Mangione, a suburban Maryland mother, the events of that December morning were about to collide with her own life in ways she could never have foreseen. Just days earlier, Kathleen had reported her son, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, missing. Luigi, an Ivy League graduate and once a promising computer scientist, had fallen off the grid entirely. Kathleen, unaware of his location since July 1st, believed he was residing and working in San Francisco, though she later learned he had been laid off from his job at TrueCar in 2023. Her concern had grown into panic by mid-November, prompting her to file a missing persons report with the San Francisco Police Department. Then came the call from the FBI. On December 7th, Kathleen found herself on the phone with agents who had linked her missing son to the man captured on surveillance footage. They showed her the image of the suspected shooter. Her initial reaction was not immediate recognition, but rather a chilling confession. She could envision Luigi committing such an act. The weight of this admission hung in the air. For Kathleen, it was an unthinkable moment of reckoning, a mother's instinct clashing with her desperate hope that her son could not be involved. 2 days later, Luigi Mangione was apprehended in a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. His arrest came after a San Francisco police officer recognized him from the surveillance image and alerted the FBI. Upon his capture, Mangione was found with a 3D printed firearm, a suppressor, fake identification, and a document outlining grievances against the U.S. healthcare system. The document painted a portrait of a man consumed by anger and disillusionment, blaming corporate greed and systemic inefficiencies for what he perceived as societal failures. As Mangione awaited extradition to New York, his mother grappled with the public and personal fallout. The family released a statement expressing their devastation and offering prayers to Brian Thompson's family. Kathleen's earlier admission to the FBI now took on new weight, casting her in an unenviable light. She had done what few parents could, acknowledge the possibility of her child's involvement in a heinous act. But the repercussions were profound. The legal proceedings began swiftly. Mangione was charged with first-degree murder as an act of terrorism under New York law, which defines such charges as crimes intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or influence government policy. The gravity of the charge underscored the calculated nature of the attack. District Attorney Alvin Bragg described the murder as frightening, well-planned, targeted, and designed to cause shock, attention, and intimidation. Evidence mounted against Mangione. Ballistic tests matched the 3D printed gun found in his possession with shell casings recovered at the scene. His fingerprints were discovered on a water bottle and an energy bar wrapper left near the crime site. The document, coupled with these physical links, created a damning case. Yet questions persisted about his motivations and mental state. Was this the calculated act of a politically driven individual or the desperate cry of a man unraveling under personal and systemic pressures? Mangione's background added another layer of complexity. As an Ivy League graduate from a prominent Maryland family, his trajectory seemed poised for success. His family, known for their real estate ventures and nursing home empire, was a fixture in their community. Yet behind the facade of privilege and promise, cracks had long been forming. His layoff in 2023 marked the beginning of a downward spiral, one that culminated in his radicalized worldview and ultimately the fatal act in Manhattan. Public reaction to the case was swift and polarized. In the corporate world, particularly among healthcare executives, fear and outrage reverberated. The targeted nature of the attack raised concerns about security and the growing hostility toward corporate leadership. in a time of economic disparity and social unrest. Meanwhile, media coverage dissected every detail of Mangione's life, from his academic achievements to his family's wealth, painting a portrait of a man whose fall from grace was as shocking as his crime. As the case moved forward, legal experts weighed in on Mangione's options. Some suggested a defense strategy focused on mitigating factors such as mental health issues or extreme emotional disturbance, rather than contesting the overwhelming evidence. For Kathleen Mangione, the journey ahead was one of navigating the unthinkable. Her son's actions had irrevocably altered countless lives, including her own. The image of Luigi, the bright, ambitious boy she had raised, now stood in stark contrast to the man accused of an act of terror. Her admission to the FBI, made in a moment of honesty, remained a poignant reminder of the complexities of familial love and accountability. The case of Luigi Mangione is far from over. As he faces his first court hearings and the process of extradition, the questions surrounding his motivations and mental state continue to loom large. For the Mangione family, for Brian Thompson's loved ones, and for a nation grappling with the implications of such targeted violence, the search for answers is only beginning.
In a world where the darkest secrets lie just beneath the surface.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence says otherwise.
Where hidden killers roam, unnoticed, in the shadows.
I think you would definitely be looking at a blend of toxic, very bad narcissistic personality traits, and they will be vengeful and possibly resort to violence.
Join Tony Bruschi as he uncovers the truth behind the most chilling cases.
They said it was an accident, but the evidence clearly says otherwise.
Each episode, we dig deep into the minds of those who commit the unthinkable.
To your point on narcissism, he thinks in his own mind how witty he is.
Yeah.
But he lost that jury. I was done with him in 2 minutes.
From unsolved mysteries to infamous crimes.
Geez, you've just talked about how you've taught yourself how to do everything under the sun. I bet you did a YouTube video, how to best kill somebody with a knife.
Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi takes you where few dare to go.
How does someone with such a dark secret go unnoticed for so long?
With multiple new episodes every single day.
We're not just telling stories, we're seeking justice.
Listen now on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.